welcome back to the Ariel Show. I am so excited for this episode. Maybe the most excited because I'm talking to you about something that probably seems super boring on the surface. So if you're like not into the title of this, I don't blame you, but like please stay with me. I'm gonna try to like stay on topic and present my thoughts in a clear, cohesive way, but let's be honest, I'm probably just gonna like ramble for 20 minutes about this. And I hope that's fine. Today we're talking about minimalism. Well, which is like not exciting. Okay, I get that. But minimalism is the gateway drug for everything good in the world. You guys. Okay, I'm just going to start at the beginning. I'm going to tell you my story with minimalism, try to explain my thought process of why this has been so incredibly meaningful to me. And it's like one of those things that once you start thinking about it and seeing it a certain way, you see it everywhere. You can like connect everything to it. So, here we go. This is my journey with minimalism. Can't even say it. Minimalism. All right, so prior to discovering my new cult of minimalism, I probably just lived like pretty normally. I don't think I was like a hoarder by any means. And we're not going to talk too much about the physical or like clutter side of this because that's not the part I care about. But it did start for me in the more physical space. I was living in between houses. I didn't have a bunch of stuff on me, so I had a pared down makeup bag. And I realized it was really easy for me to get ready in the morning because I just had like a few things. Basically, all my options were gone. And I took note of how peaceful that felt, and it didn't feel restrictive. It didn't feel like, oh, I want all my other stuff back. It felt like, oh, this is actually really great and like convenient and life-giving. I love it. And so then that turned into, I started doing that with my wardrobe. I started just like pulling out random things and started having more intention in that area and asking myself more questions. And that's what minimalism has been the gateway for me, is so much intention in each area of my life of how I want to show up. And questioning my things made me question so much more in my life. That's been really good for me and really freeing. Okay, so then it evolved to the home, right? I'm like getting rid of like random crap and kitchen utensils that I never use. I'm seeing the value of space. So for example, in a room, space is more valuable than things in the room. Or like an empty shelf can hold just as much or more value than a shelf with a knickknack on it. These are things I had never considered before. As I was seeing that and thinking about that in this new way, I started to feel the effects of it, and it was very calming for me. And it was really lovely to wake up in the morning and only have a few makeup options, like I said, have a pared down wardrobe of things that I enjoyed, that I loved, that were really easy to rewear, because for me it's like just black, like that's basically it. So it's super basic, super easy. And then also having this sense of calm and peace in my home. Okay, that was like entry level. But then you guys, it gets deeper. Once I started going through every area of my life and only holding on to the things that I loved the most and happily donating the things that didn't mean as much to me and feeling the positive effects of that, I started to stop needing to buy new things. And this is how it begins. Once you have contentment in an area of your life, you're no longer constantly scanning to add to that. So, for example, we talk about having our makeup collection, which first of all, why are we we're not coin collectors. Why are we collecting makeup? Why do we have a shoe collection? These things can totally be fun. I'm not knocking on them, but for me, I'm finding there's a lot more well-being in deciding that what I have is good and closing the door on that and being like, we're done. We're done with this. We're not going to continually evolve and keep searching for the perfect leather belt or under eye concealer. We're going to like go with what we've got and rock that, and not just randomly pop into Sephora and see the fun stuff we can get. And I know that can sound like, okay, but where's the fun in that? Because shopping is fun. I get that. But you know what is more fun? Freaking freedom from consumerism. That's what's more fun. I'm like so intense about this. I'm sorry. It has meant so much to me to be able to get off the treadmill of constantly acquiring more things. And it's a treadmill that I didn't think I was on, but I realized that because we're constantly being advertised to, we're constantly being told there's more, there's better, upgrade, the next big thing is here. And it constantly makes us feel that what we have already acquired is no longer good enough. But when you step in consciously and you decide, you know what? No, what I have is enough. The world opens up to you. So the way I see it, it starts by examining the things in our life, and maybe we get a little bit more space back. Then maybe we get a little bit more peace back. Maybe we get a little bit more resources back because we're not spending our money on useless stuff that doesn't actually move the needle in well-being in our lives. A lot of people spend a lot of their time at work, right? Like a lot of our life energy goes to work. And if you do not enjoy your work, like that is heartbreaking because that's your life energy going into that. But most of us haven't asked ourselves if the life energy we're putting into our work is actually paying off on the other side in a way that we can really feel good about. And a lot of us spend what we get from work on things that do not actually increase our quality of life. You know, it's not like we're at the mercy of our job where we have to continue to spend our life energy in this way. Now, I'll say that that's not true for everybody. Some people, they have zero disposable income, so this does not apply to you if that's the case. But for those people who are working and are able to spend money going to bars pre-COVID or going to concerts or spending their money on just fun things, like, I totally get that. However, are you getting your bang for your buck on that? The life energy that you're putting into your work, is it worth it for the things that you're getting for it? This entire lifestyle of America and Western culture is built on constantly acquiring more is more. But if you reverse that and you decide, you know what, actually for me, what's true is less is more, it's like you step off the treadmill. It's like you say, peace out, I'm going to do things my way and I'm not going to become constantly enslaved to this never-ending wheel. And it allows you to have peace and time freedom. It allows you to live life on your terms. And if you want to live at this crazy pace, if you want to keep acquiring things, you can. But my point here is that most of us don't make that decision consciously. We're born into that because of consumeristic culture. We're encouraged from every side to participate in the cog and the wheel of consumerism. So what my minimalism journey did for me is it kickstarted these ideas of like, oh, maybe I don't want to participate in consumerism as much as we were kind of all taught to do. Maybe I want to examine some things and question them and see if this is how I want to live my life, if the way that I spend my life energy and what I spend my life energy on, the things that I trade my life energy for, if that's really worth it. If, you know, that new app is what I want to spend $40 of my life energy on. Is this a fair exchange of my time and energy? A lot of times it isn't. A lot of times I would rather keep my life energy than trade it for a new item in my home, a new thing that's going to clutter up my brain or my countertop. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm really grateful to minimalism for is it helped me to stop being such a freaking workaholic, which I didn't really realize I was until I was examining my own life and seeing like how crazy I was working, how I was constantly always thinking about how to be more productive, how to always get ahead, how to always keep producing more. And I was like, oh, this is exhausting. The only way that you can actually like step off that treadmill is you decide, I don't want to keep going at this pace and I don't need to keep going at this pace in order to support my lifestyle. I'm willing to live a simpler, more minimalistic lifestyle and hold on to peace and not kill myself working all the time. That's what this has allowed me to do. Like, that's amazing. So even though I've been on this journey for a minute, it doesn't mean that I don't want new things. What I do now when I want something new is I immediately write it down. I have a section in my notes app, I add it, and I sit with it. And if I still want it after a couple weeks, maybe a month, then I get it for myself. But I like to go through the different phases because I know that in the beginning I'm going to be most excited about it. A lot of times, like a week later, I'll forget about it. A lot of times I look back at my notes app and I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't get that. That was a stupid want. I don't know why I wanted that. And that's the thing. In the past, I would have acted on that urge, on that desire, if I could have afforded to. And that is how we get ourselves in a place where we find our lives filled with crap we don't really resonate with anymore. It's because we acted from that impulse. And if you can take the power back and remove the power of that impulse because you're in charge, because you are, waiting it out rather than just acting on it right away, that brings a lot of space back into our lives. Something else that I've done is tried to make a lot of my own things just so I can consciously see if I prefer to buy it or to make it. So condiments is a really great example. Condiments used to be something that everyone just like made their own ketchup, I guess. I don't know, I'm just assuming. And so I tried making my own ketchup and I saw the workload of that. First of all, the ketchup was really freaking good, I'm just gonna say. But now I'm back to buying ketchup. But you know what? It's a conscious choice. Every time I pick up the bottle of ketchup, I'm like, okay, I'm happy to pay $2 for this because the workload of like crushing the tomatoes and doing all this stuff like just wasn't for me. But before, I didn't even know that. That wasn't on my radar. There's other things like cleaning supplies. I like to make my own cleaning supplies. I feel so like smart, like I'm cheating the system every time I use my own DIY cleaning supplies instead of getting the $6 bottle. And it's not really about the money so much as it is the mindset that it's okay to think about doing things a different way. It's okay to explore, to try to DIY things, and to not just go with what everyone assumes is the right way. Because back in the day, most people did like everything themselves, right? Now we have so much access to these modern conveniences. It's not uncommon to get our groceries delivered, right? It's not uncommon to get prepackaged meals or to have someone come clean our house for us. That's all really cool. I'm not knocking on that. But all that stuff like costs money. And if the cost of living keeps going up, that means our life energy keeps going up too. And there's going to be a breaking point where we run out of life energy. And we have to step back and be like, is this how I want to live my life? Or am I willing to do some things myself in order to kind of stay grounded and live simply, except for in the areas that I intentionally choose to upgrade on? I think it's a really big deal. I think it's really important to take the power back, to be in charge of our lives, and to not mindlessly spend our life energy on things that don't serve us. And I'm happy to spend my life energy on things that do. I'm not saying I don't. I do have a bunch of convenience things in my life that I'm happy to exchange my time, money, energy for. But the point is that it's consciously, and it's not something where I look around and I'm like, holy crap, how did it get to this point? Because that feeling really stresses me out and I don't want to live my life like that anymore. That's what I'm saying. Okay. This was my rambling speech on minimalism. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment with your own thoughts, please. I know this was not a complete idea. I know there's a bunch of holes and gaps in here, but these are my brain ramblings. I know you guys get me. I know you know where I'm coming from and understand me on this. So really appreciate your time, and I hope you have just the most beautiful day ever. And if you want to start with exploring minimalism, I would recommend that you go through one little drawer or your makeup collection if you've got makeup, or your photos app, and just start deleting things and see if you get a little spark of hope or space or freedom from less is more, and see if this would be a journey that you would consider going down as well. Okay, I love you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.